everybody, it's Rod with the PhotoFair coming back at you with another photo video. Hey, today I want to talk a little bit about the Canon RF 35 1.8 macro IS lens. This is the only native lens that I own for the EOS-R. I have several L-series EF lenses, and I have not brought myself yet to swap all of those out for RF lenses. A couple of reasons for that. Number one, I do still have an EF mount film camera, the EOS-1, and those EF L-series lenses will work on this camera very well, and they work on that camera very well. So a little reluctant. I am eventually going to get the 15 to 35 f2.8 IS, which is a brilliant lens, and that'll be a mainstay lens for me with this camera and real estate photography. So I'm kind of excited about that. So I'm not doing a review of the EOS-R. I think that's been done to death out there in YouTube. There are various entities that they either love it or hate it or neutral. I love the camera. Canon definitely, I really wish they'd have put IBIS in it, but you know, now it's $17.99. This thing's a steal. I mean, this is a great camera at $17.99. I paid $22.95 for this when it first came out, and I'm delighted with it, and I'm perfectly happy. I got to use it for a year before they lowered the price, so I had a head start. It was worth it. But now at $17.95, there shouldn't really be any questioning the integrity of this camera. Still the only one out there with a tilty, flippy screen. So, you know, they've done a really good job. But this 35 1.8, I wanted to have a native lens. I wanted to have at least one right away. So I bought this 35 1.8. I kind of like prime lenses. I shoot a lot of prime lenses. And this is a 1.8, so it's nice and fast. It's very, look how small that is. Now, even if I took Canon's EF 35 f2, which I don't own, but if I did, it's about the same size as this lens, but then I've got to put one of these adapters behind it. And that kind of makes it a little bigger. This thing is really compact, and it's got, what, 4 or 5 stops of image stabilization. It's got the control ring built in, which some reviewers on this camera didn't like the control ring. I love it. When I'm shooting aperture priority automatic, I can use this for the aperture if I want instead of this. Or if I'm shooting in full manual, which I do sometimes, I have aperture control here, shutter speed up here, kind of old school film camera style. But generally what I do is I control my ISO with this ring. It's a quick way to override the ISO without having to fiddle around with my other. I got the ISO set up with hold this button here and turn this wheel to do it, which is sort of a shortcut, but this is much easier. So anyhow, the 35 1.8, couple of things Canon did that's just fantastic with this lens is it is a macro lens. They call it a macro lens. It's not in name only, it actually is. I can get right down to there. A little closer, a little up right there, and snap. So this thing's getting down better than half-life. So it's a true macro lens. And I know some people think that macro is 1-to-1, but back in the day, you know, micro Nikkor 55 was half-life size. Pretty much all of them were half-life size, and they called them macro, and then you used an extension tube to, you know, to get to 1-to-1. So I consider if you're getting down to half-life size, it's a macro lens. And it's pretty flat field, it's pretty sharp, holds the corners pretty well. It's just a beautifully well-rounded lens. And it's fast on the autofocus, lightweight, just a great little knock-around package. I really like to see Canon come out with either a 51.8 or 51.4 in this rough size package. So that, you know, for people who didn't want the big giant 1.2 lens, want something a little more compact and maybe in a standard range like 50. I don't mind the 35 for focal length. It's a really good street shooting lens, but some people prefer that little extra quarter standard length of 50. And Canon right now, really, they just have the 1.2 L, which that lens is just brilliant, but it's expensive. So the 35 1.8, I gotta tell you, if you're looking for a lens, if you bought an EOS-R and you're like me, you have some EF lenses, or maybe you're using it adapting old glass, which I do a lot of that. I've done videos about that. That's one of the reasons I love mirrorless so much, is I can put old Leica lenses on here. But if you're looking for a native lens that you can, that's small, that's light, that's inexpensive, these are under 500 bucks, brand new from Canon. This is a great lens and I can recommend it. It is sharp, it's fast on a focus, it's lightweight, reasonably well made, not as tough and well done as the L series lenses, but definitely not the cheap plastic either. This thing does have the all metal lens mount and a little bit better build quality than you might expect from some of the cheaper lenses for like the EOS-M series, which are kind of real plasticky. So this is kind of in between, which is nice. So anyway, that's really all I got on this lens. I just wanted to do a little mini review. I'm going to put a couple photos up here for you to take a look at. Okay, so I'm back. It's good, right? I mean, it's a good, solid, quality lens. I can highly recommend it. As far as I've had my EOS-R now for over a year, like a year and 3 months, and I got to tell you, I love this camera more and more and more. So even though, like I said, I paid full price for it when it came out, Canon's lowered the price now to $17.99. It's a great camera for $17.99. I would not get a 6D at all, 6D Mark II. If just get this, it's a better camera than the 6D in just about every measurable way, and it's fantastic. Now, talk is that Canon's working on a Mark II version of this already. That seems a little fast of a turnaround. I'm not sure, but those are some of the rumors running around. I hope they put IBIS in it. If they put IBIS in it, I'll probably upgrade. If they don't put IBIS in the EOS-R Mark II, I'll probably just stick with this one. This is a great camera. So, and this 35-1.8 is a fantastic lens. So that's kind of it. I know it's a short video. I do want to take a quick moment before I close this thing out, talk to you a little bit. If you're using the EF adapter, the standard one, I like this upgrade one here with the control ring. It allows you to use any EF lens. Now it has to be an electronic EF lens. It can't be a manual focus lens with just a EF mount. It needs to be an actual, fully coupled one. So like a Tamron autofocus, a Sigma autofocus, or any Canon autofocus EF lens. And now it gives you the control ring. Now it puts it back here on the back, but it's the same deal. You can use it to control the aperture. It's customizable through the custom functions of the camera. Again, I typically have it set for ISO, but when I'm shooting manual, I use it for the aperture, and then I have shutter speed on the camera, aperture on the body. It's kind of old school way to shoot, and I kind of like that. So this is really cool. It's twice as expensive as the regular adapter, so you got to kind of really think the control ring is cool, because there's no other advantage to this control ring adapter other than it gives you that functionality. For me, I liked it because, again, most of the lenses I have 10 or 11 EF mount lenses, most of them L lenses, and I wanted to get the most out of those lenses on this camera until I can start transitioning into more of the RF glass. Part of my hesitation there, besides my wallet burning every time I look at the prices, but it's not just that. Some of it is that I still shoot with an EOS-1 film camera, and all those EF L series lenses work on that film camera, and I get brilliant results on film. So that's kind of part of it. And the other part of it, again, is, I'm stingy. So I'm probably going to get that 15 to 35 f2.8 IS. I think that lens is brilliant. I currently have the 16 to 35L. Now I'm going to get they're no longer making you trade off between the speed, the lens speed, and the IS. Now you get the 2.8 speed and you get the IS. So I opted for the less expensive 16 to 35L with IS because IS was more important to me than the f2.8 speed on that particular focal length. I wouldn't shoot that lens at 2.8 very often, and so I wanted the IS, and I pocketed an extra $400 or $500 as well. But now they're going to give you the speed, you get that 2.8 speed, and you get the IS, and you get an extra millimeter. So I think that's money well spent. Anyhow, so that's all I got. Don't forget, the next PhotoFair is February 22nd at the Newark Pavilion. You can go to PhotoFair.com, check out all the show dates for the rest of the year. There's a show coming up in Tucson, Arizona in March. We've got information on the website about that. That's one of the oldest shows probably in the country. They're in their 62nd year. So that show qualifies for Social Security. Holy cow, what a show. That's a good one if you're going to be in the Tucson, Arizona area. Definitely stop in on that. I think it's March 10th, but check the website, photofair.com. We're not doing a spring show at the Newark Pavilion this year. We're going to do it a little bit later, late spring, early summer in Summerfeld. It's going to be an outdoor show. Stay tuned to photofair.com to get more information about that. It's going to be cool. It's going to be outdoor. We're going to have some tents set up, and it's going to be a smaller show, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Get some fresh air and do open air style. We're going to give that a shot. Doing Portland middle of September, and then we're back to the Newark Pavilion in November. So again, photofair.com to check out the shows. Don't forget the 22nd of next month at the Newark Pavilion for the next Photo Fair. See ya.